should we? Oh, he's in there. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Mayor and Council Caucus Meeting of May 9th, 2018. It's 6:39 p.m. Call the meeting to order. Madam Clerk, may I have a roll call, please?
Mayor Frangio.
Here.
Councilperson Zaversa.
Here.
E. Park. Here. I think that's Councilwoman O walking in. Councilor Park. Nope. Councilwoman O is not in yet. McMorrow. Here. And Park.
Here.
Wood.
Here.
Borough Attorney. Present. And DPW Superintendent.
Here.
Yes.
Madam Clerk, would you please read the Open Public Meetings Act statement?
Adequate notice of this meeting was given to the press and posted as required. Date and time of this meeting was legally given as required by the Open Public Meetings Act. This notice is on file with the municipal clerk and posted on the bulletin board. Minutes of this meeting will be made available to the public upon the completion of typing and proofreading by the municipal clerk.
Thank you. Have a motion to open to the public, please?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Does anyone from the public who wishes to be heard, please raise your hand. Wait for me to recognize you. Come up to that microphone and state your name and address. Okay, seeing and hearing no one, can I please have a motion to close the public portion?
Second.
All in favor? Thank you. Next on the agenda is what's becoming a very old business item. It's the budget discussion. And if we should just pick up from where we left off on Monday.
Mayor, I provided everyone with these packets that were sent to us by the auditor.
Okay, so,
Drafts and not for...
right, so there's nothing for public distribution here. The auditor has provided us with 4 different scenarios for applying our surplus to the 2018 budget, the municipal budget, that is. And perhaps we could all take a few minutes and just review those on our own since we discussed these.
No, these were sent day before yesterday.
Well, they were,
They weren't.
the printout was just received.
Well, they were all emailed for you to mention.
Well, okay, you could just, everybody take a few minutes to refresh your memories of these. Okay, I'm still looking for some expense reductions for the year. I know there's also some other adjustments that we have to make for DPW, and I think those items have been transmitted, Mark? Yeah, okay. And Chris has those? Paul has those?
Yeah.
Okay. There are some labor adjustments that I think can take place to help us out. Our labor council is looking at those items, and we can't speak to those right now. He has not come back to me yet, and we would have to provide rights notices to those employees if we're going to discuss them. So I would like to say it's premature, but it's not. I'm still waiting for him to get back to me on that. That said, is there anything else in the budget that people want to discuss right now?
What number did you finally leave overtime at? I know it's
150.
just for the... Didn't we already at 125?
Can you use the microphone? It's not picking up, please.
Aren't we at 120 or somewhere in that neighborhood currently? How is 150 responsible?
Well, what happened was the number went from something like 85,000 to 125,000 overnight. And a lot of it was due to training. But I don't foresee that level of training continuing for the rest of the year. We pay our senior officers salaries to do their jobs, and that includes operating the police department within the budget they're given. And there's a daily email from me to our senior leadership, and it usually says the following: just confirming there was no overtime requested or approved for today. And that's been going on for several weeks, and I know some people in the audience have opened that as well, because they seem to have really good connections with our senior police officers. So then I'm also surprised when I see that there is overtime being incurred. We as a borough have to pay it if it's incurred, of course, because that's our obligation, but there needs to be some ramifications to management if they're just going to think that the budget is a number that they get to set. So right now, without any concessions from them, my position is that it's still 150, and they can do a number of things within the police department to reallocate their personnel in such a fashion where overtime would be eliminated completely, except for emergencies, which I think since I've been mayor, we've had really one serious emergency, and that was the fire at St. Michael's Villa. Other than that, it's just become a bit of a joke. And whenever you speak to it with leadership, you kind of get the same reaction, which is, it is what it is, and that's the way it's going to be. Our residents don't want that. What will inevitably happen is people will come up to the microphone and say, oh, you know, we want to be safe. You're not any safer at $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 of overtime or $125,000 of overtime. That's a false narrative. What can happen here is we have 24 police officers and a chief. Unfortunately, they're all not going to be able to have breakfast and lunch together. Okay? They need to split up their day. Some people will have breakfast together, some people will have lunch together, some people will have dinner together, but you need to spread out your manpower throughout. We also need to start looking at doing a 12-hour shift, a pitman shift, so that you could predict your overtime better and your absences. And then there's the issue of a dispatcher. We're one of the few places left that has a senior officer answering telephones. Now, perhaps we could do that at night, but during the day, it could be a civilian, and we get another person out on the road. We've asked the chief to take all steps necessary to reschedule people pursuant to their contract, so that there's better coverage throughout. But I'm done. I'm not going to dollar up until I start seeing some results, and some gratitude as well to this borough. We are I believe we're either the second or the first in terms of best paid police departments in the state of New Jersey. If you figure in overtime, I think we're number one by far. And we have the 5th highest paid police chief in New Jersey. So we're also a town with little crime, little propensity for crime, and we could do better. We've got much more technology today that we need to use better to be more efficient. Private sectors have done this, but public sector has been unable to do that. So I'm not sure why, but we need to do better. So I understand you think that 125 out of 150 is tight.
Well, I'm just concerned about it.
I'd like to hear, I just want, what would you say, given what the mayor is saying? What would you say?
Well, I don't know what labor moves he has
No, but I'm
you
saying...
know, behind, so I can't speak for that.
Well, you're speaking to overtime, so I'm not speaking to police.
Yeah,
When I speak
just
to
on
labor.
overtime, what would you say?
Number-wise,
Yeah.
I don't think, well, just based on a quarter, if we're at 120 for the quarter, extrapolate.
No, but then,
I'm not saying put it 480,000, but I'm not sure 150 is reasonable either.
It would have been very reasonable in January, but people, like I always say, I'll work with anyone who'll work with me. People have decided that they don't have to work with me and that they could just keep taking advantage of our taxpayers. I'm not willing to do that. I'm not going to support a dollar more than 150 until I see other concessions somewhere else. And that was the message to our borough administrator today, James Barbario, who started on Monday, and Tuesday, we welcome him. He'll be coming to these meetings in the future. So he's going to focus on that.
he's going to follow up, and it leads to, he asked for a couple of extra days. I mean, I think it's quite understandable, given the, situation walking in like that. I know, Mayor, if I may?
Yes, sir.
We had a special meeting for Monday. He asked for 3 more days, because for the special meeting to be on Monday, we have to give the final numbers in tomorrow.
Well, wait, ask for days for what, though?
It was 3 days to digest the budget. He just started yesterday.
You mean before it comes to a meeting, or?
No, before he wants to give a comment.
Oh,
He wants to give a
oh,
comment.
okay, I wasn't sure what you meant by extra days.
Okay.
There's only 7 days of the week, I don't think he's getting any more
Sorry
days.
about that. Yeah. And he's meeting, we're going to meet with the CFO tomorrow. I just forgot it.
Oh,
I'm
that's fine.
trying to catch him as quickly as possible. That's one of the areas the mayor asked him to look at, along with the litigation lines. So,
So if you have to, there's a possibility that the special meeting on Monday will be changed.
yeah, I need to get, I think that's what was that asked for everybody to bring their calendars, if we can switch it from Monday to Friday, in any way, shape, or Monday to Thursday. He just needs 3 days to get caught up on this.
That I understand.
Yeah.
We're faced with the challenges of, we have police overtime in that bucket there, and then we have litigations, and then we have other litigations of, the affordable housing. So, just to put some context around this, when I became mayor 2 years ago, we had 0 surplus. I think we actually had negative 200-something thousand.
Actually, the letter we got today said we had like 180 or 200,000 in surplus.
Well, I think that was not incorrect.
From
That was not-
Galvarini, huh?
That was not correct, because it didn't account for the 200,000 and change that we had to cover.
No, I didn't get that.
Today, we have $1,840,000, so I think we did really well, okay? And that's something that we can use to work into this budget. But that doesn't mean that our department heads can just ignore what we give them. Every other department head adheres to their budget. Mark does a great job adhering to his, Lizette, everybody else. I don't know why police is different. It shouldn't be. Everybody works for us. Let's just reset that, okay? We don't work for the police department, they work for us. They're a third of our budget, but 99% of our problems, okay? There needs to be a cultural shift in that department of how it's led and how it's executing and operating. I'm not willing to just tolerate that anymore. Now I have the borough administrator, who I feel can help us deliver that to us.
So,
So that said,
we can, there's 2 things we need to decide. Today, we need to come to some sort of a consensus, I would hope, on how much surplus that we're going to put in. And then if we can all just check our calendars and see what we can come and work together on for the introduction. It's neither the CFO or they'll have to be there, but they just need 2 days to get it prepared. And I told James I would ask everybody, I thought that was reasonable. This way he can get a true understanding of what's in each one.
So instead of the 14th, we want to do it on the 17th or the 18th, is that it?
What's Monday, 14th?
Yeah.
17th or 18th,
I am-
whatever works for everybody.
I'm gone after the Tuesday.
You're gone.
I have graduations.
Oh.
Oh, it's that time of year.
It sure is.
That's,
Congratulations.
That's
Well,
very nice.
why don't we do this? Why don't we go back to Jamie and ask if he can actually catch up to us, so we can
He
still do it
can.
on Monday?
that's
Is that gonna work?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm around Tuesday, I'll make myself available. I have to go move one kid out, but I can push that off to a different time.
Unless, are we talking evening or,
Anything,
I can do evening, I just can't do it in the morning on Tuesday. Because we already have the schedule for Monday morning, so. The evening, I just can't do morning, or, no. Thursday morning.
Tuesday, I can certainly do my best to be there Tuesday night.
Like 6:30.
By the way, where's Gloria? Did she call in?
She's running late in court, she's court on Wednesday, so. She'll be here.
It's gonna be a real challenge for Tuesday night, but that's if you're gone, and I would like to have Trent, I mean, you're not here either, right?
I'm gonna be calling in.
Okay, so we need we need your person, your quorum, sorry.
I can't call in?
No,
We need a quorum.
because we need a quorum.
Oh,
I generally like to avoid that legal issue.
Gloria's not here.
Why, you're still participating in real time
Yeah,
simultaneously. You're
Well,
present.
the laws haven't quite caught up with technology, and also my understanding is we can't have two people call in up at the dais.
Why
Is
not?
that true?
No, we've had
That's
to.
what I asked you.
No, we
can do a conference,
We
no?
can
We'll just give you a dial-in bridge.
Mayor, are you okay Tuesday night? It's gonna be really rough catching them up for Tuesday night, but I'll do.
Why are you have a deadline next week?
We have a deadline this
Here,
week.
and he's not here.
You have to introduce by next week?
Well, I
What's the
believe so.
penalty if you don't?
the guillotine.
Okay.
I can also, I think I can call in on Tuesday night if I had to. I mean, actually, I think I can call in pretty much any time Tuesday. If that's okay. If it's not okay, then, you know,
I'm counting backwards, and this is like hundreds of, I don't think anybody understands.
on Tuesday by phone, I can make myself available pretty much any time,
I
I
mean,
think.
obviously, the new borough administrator has experience that may be beneficial for the budget purposes, you know, so you should try and accommodate him, but
Yeah, no, again.
Well, look, if we can't do it next week, we'll do it the week after.
Okay, what about on the
I don't think they're gonna
Monday?
shoot us.
Okay, what about the Monday? I just want to set, I need to get the date
Thanks.
before they submit it in. Okay, so what about the Monday?
which is the 21st.
Yeah, 21st?
I'm not back yet. She graduates on the 20th, I'm not back
Yeah,
till
you're
the
pushing it
20th.
now.
But actually, I'll be back.
Graduation.
I can't go any further.
Yeah,
That's
shoot,
further.
right.
I can't. This is,
Uh,
The same week.
if he can call in, he can call in, but you'll be back.
Yeah, if you have it Monday night, I should be back, and if not, I can always call in, because you'll be back,
They'll be
right?
back. Okay, so we have one.
Because if anything, I'll be stuck on the road somewhere. We did have it all set for the 14th. I get it, I understand.
You're okay?
Yeah,
You okay?
I have it here.
I'm sorry, okay? Night of the 21st.
6:30? Yeah.
21st.
I'm gonna move it from,
Yeah, just do me a favor, hold the 14th, but hold the 21st also.
The
Okay,
14th morning still.
At 8 o'clock, yeah, and hold the 21st, okay? That's all I can
that's a good
get.
idea.
Because he's just gonna make a phone call, and I just wanna make sure, I'm just trying to cover everybody's bases in every direction.
All right, so 21st at 6:30, right?
21st at 6:30, Mayor, we're gonna hold the 21st at 6:30 and still hold at 8 o'clock
On the 14th?
on the 14th.
Now,
We're meeting with Chris at 8:30 in the morning, and everybody will know by the afternoon tomorrow which one it will be.
Hold on. You need to know by before noon tomorrow.
You're gonna know before noon. You'll know before noon.
So you don't put the notice in.
Yeah, she'll know before noon. So we're meeting
May 14th, Monday, which is the original,
At
Or-
8:30 a.m.
at 8.
8 a.m.
It was
8
8.
a.m.
Or the 21st at 6:30.
It's also on Monday.
At 6:30, yeah.
Yeah, say that.
We've had that. Okay.
The 14th was at 8 or 8:30?
8 a.m.
Hey, sorry, I said 8:30. I have 8.
Gotcha. All right.
Okay, and I'll, well, make sure everybody knows by the afternoon.
Okay.
Okay, so next thing we have to talk about the amount of surplus. So we need to look at these numbers here and discuss how much surplus we want to use and how much it's all going to be indicative of how much of a tax increase you're looking to impose upon the residents, basically.
Well, we
cut and dry.
we have that, and we have some expenses to cut still, but I'm all in on the surplus. This is something we built up. We're at war on certain things, and we want to fund those wars properly.
And I would want to have the least amount of a tax implication on the residents as possible. I mean, that's just my opinion. But I want to hear what everybody's got to say, because I would like to, you know, be as unified as we can on this.
So using all, so I just did some
They
math.
keep 4 scenarios. We
Yeah.
had 3 last time, but then we got
So
4.
the difference between, like, using all the surplus and leaving 500 plus thousand in surplus is only like $200. So I'm not, I know it is significant, but I'm not willing to risk, with all our other surprises we seem to get these days, bills. I'm not comfortable risking it all for,
Well, you're not risking it all, but if you don't use it, it goes back in, and I'll point out respectfully that before I became mayor, you were very comfortable having no surplus, and now all of a sudden it's important.
actually it was 200,000, and last year I
That was
wanted...
negative.
Last year I wanted to use more surplus to bring it to 5 or 6, which I told you last year was my
No, but I'm saying
comfortable
before
number.
I became mayor,
I'm saying
you were
now.
very comfortable having no surplus. This doesn't even register.
We never had
Well,
no
let's just-
surplus,
okay, let's
so
just-
you're false narrative, as you
Let's
say
just
now.
try-
No, it's true. I mean,
Garbarini sent it,
the number's right.
$100,000
It's $1,840,000.
was the lowest
All right, so
expense.
let's say he's right. I don't think he is, but say it's 200,000 that you had when I became mayor. You now have $1,840,000.
I think it was 67.
Yeah, I think it was 67,000.
67.
We've managed this borough phenomenally well. Despite everything every obstacle that's been thrown at us, we've still built up this surplus. And yes, we do have curveballs. We can't control that. We have some residents who decide that it's good to sue the borough whenever you lose an election and you want to govern through judges, one is sitting here right now. But we'll deal with all that. And I hope that in the quiet of their thoughts, they'll reconsider their actions and how they approach their lives and the lives within this borough. But until then, we have to keep reacting, and we have to keep fighting. That's what we're doing.
Okay, so let's just go around and see what everybody thinks, right? Because at the end of the day, it comes down to a vote, and you need 4 votes to get the budget. We need to find a common ground that I'm speaking as frankly as possible, it's the reality, right? We don't want to happen what happened last year, if we can avoid it. So we need 4 votes to pass the budget. So let's talk about it.
Okay, I'm comfortable with $1,300,000, leaving 500,000 in surplus, or, plus or minus. I know that's what those professionals say.
Is there any concession to go middle ground with you? I mean, because
Well-
people want one extreme and
Yeah, no, I get it.
Always look for a compromise if you can.
Well, I'm not too comfortable with the police overtime at 150.
Well, that's
I don't
fine.
think it's realistic, so I'm taking that into account also. We have some hirees that I was never comfortable with and still am not, but they're there, so we have to deal with that as well. So that's why I'm comfortable at using, I'm not saying don't use any surplus, I'm saying using $1,300,000 of it, so.
Right.
And that's about where I was last year, if you recall. I said just take a couple $100,000, a few $100,000 out, and leave us with $500,000 or $600,000. That's kind of what I'm comfortable with even now. And I think this year we have a lot more possible surprises than we had last year, so.
So would you consider going to $1,500,000 or?
But that's the thing, I'm not sure, and let me just get my little math book out here. So that's the thing, though. Is it worth a couple of dollars? That's what we have to decide as a
But
council.
it's like $100.
Right.
It's $100 less. I mean, listen, I think that's a pretty high.
So the difference between using $1.3 million and $1.5 million is,
$77.
so yeah. See, that's the thing. Is it worth the $77 to take that chance of $200,000 out of surplus?
What chance are you taking?
That the 150 is not going to cover the overtime, that we're going to be surprised with some other possible legal bills that we didn't even get yet.
So if you're saying 1.3 instead of 1.840, then find $500,000 to cut in this budget. That's my response. Because it's not fair to our residents that we have the spending that we do. We built up the surplus, I say we use it.
You were also under the impression, I think, last year about being fiscally responsible and being prudent, and now you're saying something completely different.
Yeah,
So,
at least I'm consistent. Whether you agree or disagree, at least I'm consistent.
You choose to confuse yourself.
Really?
I am not
Because I
confused.
probably put a
because
video back, and also you saying the word fiscally.
We are, actually.
Listen, everybody's entitled to have their own philosophy, and respectfully, some people believe, you're more of the belief, like a bank, that you want to hold on to it.
A little
And
bit.
the mayor, I'm just saying, in big picture, the mayor is, if I'm understanding you, is more of a belief to pass the savings back to the residents. And that's basically, we have to figure out if we can find a
And
common
don't
ground
forget,
somewhere.
in under 2 years, we'll have the LG building online with a good rateable there. And that'll make it worthwhile.
My comment, I think it's our duty to perform going forward and to keep our expenses manageable. Like the mayor said, I think we built up the surplus, $300,000 as it pertains to COLA. That was something which was completely out of our control. It's just, and I think at least that amount of the surplus should be used, looking at additional. So that would be 1.6. Looking at where the increases on the county level and also on the school level. You'll see there, it's a roughly 5% on the county level, roughly 6% on the school level. I don't know what the extraneous factors are there, but we've dealt with a lot of extraneous factors. If we use, say, 1.7 million in surplus, we would be roughly in line with the increases on the county level as well as the school level. So, that doesn't make it, that's not a comment, that percentage. We could be lower than them, we could be higher than them, but I feel very comfortable if we're in line in terms of managing municipal government. So I support 1.6, I support 1.7 as well.
Mark?
What about LG project? They will finish about the end of next year?
Yes.
You think so?
Didn't say all permits have been already paid.
No, I mean
Mark's talking about the ratables.
yes,
The ratable.
ratables is 2020, then, my opinion is 1.7 million, we can use it, but a little bit in advance, we can utilize about it, because to lower our tax, that's my opinion. Probably, we can.
Just a little bit surprised that this was not discussed before. I think we were talking about, leaving some money behind, but,
We spoke about it
yeah, and this was not what was discussed. Now everybody else is saying something different. So I'm going to say the same thing I said, which is I think we should try to keep, about 500,000. But that being said, I'm not completely inflexible, and I'm okay with 1.5. But, things come up all the time, it seems. So I want to keep some money, in case. So I think originally I said it was 1.3, but, of course I understand that big increase, so I'm okay with the 1.5.
Okay, well, I appreciate that. Personally, and I appreciate everybody giving their opinion, I think I would be anywhere from the 1.5 to the 1.7. I was looking at spending, if I'm looking correctly here, at our projected, and I think these are the two most important numbers here in the front. I'll go over this with Chris tomorrow and let everybody know, but, okay, so in 2017, our spending was 17,290,797, right? And our projected for 2018 is 17,792,875. See that?
Yeah, I see it.
So there's a difference in 502,078. Obviously, I totally agree with the mayor, and I believe we all agree with the fact that we have, besides the other lawsuits that we're all aware of, we have our COA litigation, we have our adversaries sitting in the back room there, they're there at every meeting, and, you know, we are committed to this situation, and we need to, you know, deal with it appropriately. So, I think that's the biggest nut right there, is the $500,000 difference. And the question is going to be, do we pass that increase on to the residents? Do we eat it more from the borough side? That's what I think is going to all come down to. I hear you. I appreciate that, and I appreciate what Alan said. Hopefully you can find some flexibility there a little bit, not be, you know, and I appreciate if you can. If you can't, that's your right. I don't comment on that. But I think that that's what it's going to come down to, you know. So, I don't know how Gloria feels, she's not here. But at the end of the day, we need 4 votes. That's the reality.
Can we just recess for a minute and call Gloria and see where she is?
And I need her for the closed session.
Yeah, we're really done at this point. We're going to be going into close.
She just has, she's on her way.
Okay.
From court.
No, local?
And she, I don't know, she says on her way.
It must have been an emergency because it's 7
We want to discuss other items on the caucus agenda and then come back to this.
Well, yeah, I'll do that. I want everyone between now and the next budget meeting to look at the expenses and cut more.
Well, I think what they can do, because Jamie is here now, okay, so he's here, Jamie Barbario at EngleCliffsandJ.org, and, because we don't want to violate quorum at all, just email him with any ideas for anything else that you think could be helpful with, everybody knows what we want to achieve, right? Use less surplus, and maybe there's other spending we can cut. Let's take one more look, right, with that, and please. And if you want to come in, make an appointment, I'm going to make sure he's there, you know, because, just come in, talk to him.
He's officially here Monday
He
morning.
is officially Monday. He has come in yesterday. He came in yesterday because, you know, there's all the other things, right, printing, all that stuff, so I don't want to, I know tomorrow morning, 8:30, we're meeting with the CFO.
Okay.
Anybody has any questions, please, open door, just come in and...
Okay. So, for now, the only thing that I would do in caucus is go to closed session.
I think she said she needs to...
Yeah, I understand that. We could.
When you call a closed session?
Yeah.
Do you want to wait for Gloria for that?
No, you know what? People know, let me just say this. People know where they have to be. They know when they have to be there, okay? We're all here. That's the bottom line. If you run for office, you need to be in that office. Okay, so let's have a closed session. You have a motion to go into closed session.
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Madam Clerk, would you please give us the appropriate language for the record to go into closed session?
Resolution 18101, pending litigation. Whereas the mayor and council of the Borough of Englewood Cliffs has deemed it necessary to go into closed session to discuss certain confidential matters, and whereas the minutes of this closed session will remain confidential as permitted under the Open Public Meeting Act, or it shall be released when there is no further need for confidentiality as authorized by the borough attorney. Now therefore be it resolved that the mayor and council of the Borough of Englewood Cliffs will go into closed session for the following matters as permitted under the Open Public Meetings Act, NJSA 10:4-12. 4 items to be discussed regarding Borough of Englewood Cliffs, affordable housing, 800 Sylvan Avenue LLC versus the Borough of Englewood Cliffs Mayor and Council and Planning Board, which is the builder's remedy lawsuit. 800 Sylvan Avenue LLC versus Planning Board builder suit to challenge Planning Board denial, including resident Karen Geiger's motion to intervene. And fourth matter is Eastwood versus Borough.
Thank you. No, we did actually.
We did get some.
Right? Do you have a motion to come out of closed session, please? So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Could I have a motion to adjourn the caucus meeting? So moved. Second, please? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Let's get the-
Close it now.
Who closed it?
Yeah.
I second.
And come out of closed
Oh, yeah, I forgot.
Mayor, don't forget, I got some.